sharing life itself.
I watched a show in the 50s, 60s, The Life of Riley. Oh, yeah, it's this guy in a hammock. The guy that played Riley was phenomenal. Great actor, perfect for this role. And it's about a guy who just sits in a hammock all the time, just like enjoying life. And you must think he must have all the money in the world. He must just have it all. But he doesn't look like he's rich or anything. He's just kind of a everyman, he has a nice little house with a picket fence,
Pretty normal, yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember if he had a wife or children, but the life of Riley is what I think of when I see that door, easy life. It's just immediate.
That picture of Riley enjoying his normal and easy life.
And it's now, yes, absolutely. And it's now a coined phrase. Everybody says, oh, he wants the life of Riley. So that's where I came up with this. So the life of Riley it's from the show. It doesn't exist. Okay. So this whole episode on life is a show or an example of things that are not. Okay.
That are not existent.
They don't exist. In other words, there is no easy life. There is no difficult or hard life. There's no normal life. There's no any kind of life. There's just life. And when people realize that they're not the only ones going through this life, then they're going to feel much better and easy life, because it's like saying, I was presented once with this pianist. I said, hey, how many hours a day do you practice? This is a famous pianist, maybe not to everybody. He goes, I don't practice. I said, I know, it sounds like it. So in other words, I was not very nice. This person, his name starts with a B, by the way.
Okay,
so you can try to, not Brendel, no. Anyway, so he said, I never practice. And I said, of course, it sounds like, he said, that's rude. And I said, no, it really is true. You're very gifted, but it sounds like you never practice. So in other words, it was just life. I'm not criticizing the guy. I'm not praising the guy. I'm just saying this is what it is. And that's what life is. For example, Dina, the violinist, she doesn't have an easy life because she demands a lot from that Sibelius concerto. So therefore, her life is not easy, but is it really difficult? Not really, because she's so gifted. See, you can go around and round and around this thing. Here's my life of Riley. Do you want to know what it would be? I want to have my McDonald's iced coffee here in the morning and a bacon roller. You don't know what that is. And then I go to my apartment and I would like to watch Curb Your Enthusiasm morning, noon, and night. That would be the life of Riley for me, with a few little excursions in between. They want it, but then they think, wow, that's really boring. I'd much rather have breakthroughs at the piano. And that's when, that's my thing. So then I think, well, let's go practice for a while and see what happens, And that's kind of the way I practice. I go, let's just see what's going to happen today. And for sure, every day it changes. Well, the life of Riley doesn't apply to that scenario you presented. When you're demanding of something, like if you challenge the music itself or the form of music itself, you challenge your religious beliefs, you challenge everything you believe in. That is not the life of Riley. You're asking for a life of turmoil, because you're going to constantly question yourself. See, life is about
good enough, right?
Yeah, absolutely. There's this man right at the end of his life. He goes, is that it? Is that all there is? He's thinking
on his deathbed, right?
Yeah. I mean, he really thinks that is that it? I mean, are you kidding? There's so much more, but there isn't, because his life was his life. That's life. You see? So this life of Riley aspect is a complete myth. It doesn't exist even in the slightest, because of one thing, boredom. If you have this life of Riley, being human is to challenge and to say, I want more, I want this, I want some more candy, I want some more cars, whatever it is. I'm using really stupid examples, but basically,
Right.
we want more. Give someone 2 pieces of candy and they want 5 more. Never. Nobody's ever content. I've never known anyone that was totally content with their life unless they were super old and couldn't really do anything. Then they go, I have no regrets. Well, when I'm dying, I won't be saying that. I'm going to say, I had a lot of regrets and I have them right now. Lots of regrets.
So a lot of unrealized potential, like
sure, unresolved situations and relationships, and life's too complicated to have a life of Riley.
So
yeah, see,
hard life.
It's simple. Hard life. See, it's just a matter of interpretation.
Exist? Yeah.
No, it doesn't exist either. See, the thing is, there's some people, some that say, "Oh, I have such a hard life. It's just, I have to do this. I have to take the kids, and I have to go across town. It's 100 miles a day, and the gasoline's killing me. The price, blah blah." I mean, this could go on forever.
Groceries,
what's the point?
Everything.
Let me ask you something. What's the point of complaining when it does absolutely no good? There's no benefit. Think about it. There's no benefit. There's only one benefit in complaining.
There is some relief to it.
Yeah, you get it off your chest. You go, "Oh, I feel really good. I just cursed my butt off right there, and now I feel really good." Because I like to curse a lot, so I go blah 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 blah, and I feel I let off some steam, and but it really doesn't. Yeah, let off some steam. So what?
How are we tying cancer as it relates to the hard life back to circle back to our subtopic here?
Well, see, I don't think it's a hard life. I can say this with some experience. I know several people that are alive right now, 2 or 3, that have cancer.
Right.
And they pull the cancer card on you all the time. And that's because it's not in remission, but it's stable. Okay, when something is stable, not necessarily in remission, meaning you're terminal, but when it's stable, that can last for 20 years. I know my father-in-law, the conductor Gustav Meyer, had it for 20 years, and he did everything very well. Microbiotic diet, all this stuff to stay alive, and he did a very good job of it. But the point is, he is an example of the good cancer life. And that is, he never complained. He just did the best he could. He never complained about anything. I'm not saying I would do that because we all know I would complain. But the point is, he never complained. He really never did. Now, there are these other 3 people
things being difficult, right?
Yeah. To him, it was not a hard life. It was a challenge, and he met that challenge head on.
Oh.
It's all a matter of an attitude. It's cancer, breaking your leg, not being crippled, whatever. I can give you all kinds of stories, biblical and non-biblical, of people that were left impaired, but it's for a reason, in my opinion. So in other words, it's not a hard life. You have to look at it differently. How about that you're an example to other people? So if you're impaired in some way, like you can't walk, so other people notice you and they say, "Wow, I'm so grateful that I can walk."
You'd have to think outside of yourself with it as well and find that important.
Of course,
to be an example, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. When people just think of themselves, they're doing themselves an injustice. The minute you start thinking of other people and their needs, you're relieved somehow. You forget about your problems and you're more focused on their problems. That's therapy.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is no hard life, you see. There's just life. There is no easy life. There's just life. That's it.